The behemoth eviscerated its victims in the...
Say the behemoth? Am I pronouncing that wrong? I don't know.
I don't know if there's something wrong with my cerebral cortex, but I can't read, bro.
Teenagers can't read. Not confidently, not fluently, and in some cases, not at all. A student went around his school asking other students to read a short sentence. And what you're about to see isn't just awkward, it's revealing. A quick correction from my last video. This is a charter school, not a private school. Many people commented on the last video, so let's look at some of the comments. Jerry Wagner wrote, "They do not care and would actually make fun of others for not being able to read it." Frank says, "Illiteracy is not cute." I totally agree. American Idol says, "My parents read to me every night. I could read going into first grade." That's excellent. Walt Diesel, these names are great. "Most American schools are preparing you to be an employee or an inmate." Let's look at the next video. The sentence, "The behemoth eviscerated its victims in the depths of the labyrinth." There's actually a spelling mistake, labyrinth. And the handwriting isn't great either. Clear input matters, but at the same time, this is a sentence a high school student should be able to work through, even with imperfections, if they've had enough exposure to reading. And that "if" is doing a lot of work here. Let's look at the first student.
Read the ending skirt.
The behemoth eviscerated its victims in the depths of its labyrinth.
What does that mean?
I mean, like, so big.
Very awkward.
The labyrinth is like a maze, right? Like, it's talking about some sort of subject, like obliterating its victims, basically, inside the maze.
He reads behemoth, eviscerated. And this is where the key idea comes in. He's decoding, not recognizing. He's seeing these words like they're new, sounding them out piece by piece instead of instantly recognizing them. This usually means one thing. He hasn't seen them enough in context, not enough reading over time. But then he explains it. Maze, subject, creature, destroying victim. He even says obliterates. That's strong.
Take your time.
Stop dicking. You can read it. Yo, you want to read this?
He looks at it, laughs, and hands it off. No attempt. And this is where I think we need to be honest. This doesn't happen in 1 year. This is built over time. A student like this may have struggled early with reading, never built confidence, avoided it whenever possible, and eventually learned that not trying feels safer than failing. And maybe no one consistently sat down with him when he was younger and worked through reading with him, pushed him past that uncomfortable stage where it's slow and frustrating. Because that stage is normal. Every reader goes through it. But if you don't push through it, you stay there.
What does it say, the behemoth? Am I pronouncing that wrong? I don't know. Its victims in the depths of the labyrinth.
She reads it, hesitates on behemoth, and even asks if she's saying it right. The hesitation is interesting because it shows awareness but also doubt. And I think a lot of students today have that. They're unsure, not just about the word, but about themselves. This is a younger student. He looks at it and says, "I can't read it." At least he's honest, but this is where reality sets in. By this age, the gap is already wide. Reading is built early, through repetition, through parents reading with kids, through being pushed to try even when it's difficult. If that foundation isn't there, it doesn't magically appear later.
The behemoth eviscerated its victims in the depths of the labyrinth.
What does that mean?
What does what mean?
The card?
It's giving the monster destroyed the people, well, the victims in the labyrinth, in the maze.
She reads it clearly, explains it. Behemoth, monster, eviscerate, destroy. This is what reading looks like when it's been practiced consistently. You can tell she's seen words like this before. Maybe not every day, but enough that they're not intimidating. And that's the difference.
The behemoth eviscerated its victims in the depths of the labyrinth.
What does that mean?
So there was like a big monster and it destroyed its victims in kind of the middle of a maze.
He reads it fluently, no hesitation. And this is really worth emphasizing, because the last two students, the strongest readers, come from different backgrounds, different families. She's probably Muslim. He looks Christian with a cross on his neck. So two different upbringings, different environments, and yet they're the two who read the best. So maybe that tells us something. Maybe this isn't about background, identity, or culture. Maybe the common factor is much simpler, much less talked about. They've read more. They've had more exposure to language over time, more repetition, more practice. Because what you're seeing here isn't natural talent, it's built. Let's look at some of the comments. I don't get the laughing. 2 people got it. What's a labyrinth? It's a fancy word for a complex maze. Please keep posting these. People don't believe me when I tell them how bad it is.
I don't know if there's something wrong with my cerebral cortex, but I can't read, bro. And I don't mean read like read words. Okay, obviously I can read words, but I mean like a book. Okay, like a page, like just a page of anything. So I was sitting here trying to read a book for class. Okay, it was a requirement that we finish 2 of the chapters. Okay, I ended up reading 5 pages. And then I reflected on what the I just read, and I realized I don't even know what did I even read? I think the only knowledge I actually grasped from reading that book was that the book was way too long. Okay, give me half a page and then I'm happy. Please, can we summarize it? That would make my life so much easier. And I want to be one of those like book nerds, bookworms that can like just sit there and read, because honestly, I like to acquire new knowledge, but I just physically can't, bro. Like I literally will read a page, and I don't know what it is about my stupid brain, but every time I read the page, nothing processes. Okay, I could read it 3 times. This shit does not process at all, bro. Books suck, bro. Movies are better. Let's be real. Let's just keep it a stack. Books are just buns, bro.
A student talks about being asked to read 2 books. He tries, gets through about 5 pages, and then says he can't remember anything he read. And this connects directly to everything we've just seen. Because reading isn't just about saying words. It's about processing meaning, holding ideas in your mind, and connecting sentences together. And if reading itself is difficult, your brain is using all of its energy just to get through the words. There's nothing left for understanding. So you finish a page and it's gone. And that's when students start to say, I can't read. Not always because they can't, but because it's so ineffective that it feels pointless. And this is where it becomes uncomfortable. These students grow up. They become adults who vote, make decisions, interpret information, influence others. If reading is weak, comprehension is weak. And if comprehension is weak, the quality of those decisions drop. So this isn't just a classroom issue. It affects all of us.